Here we are. Welcome back. We're good to go. Everybody's good to go. Here we are on the theme. We're on the part of the theme where we're the plan, the strike. So now we're going to show you your timing and how and consistency. So we're going to show you our GPS tracking system and our calendar that was included in the metrics when you created your athletic profile. This is where the calendar takes you to right here. So when you're in there, you want to know how and when to send out your resume, when to contact coaches. So when you're in those 5 phases of recruiting, you know that you got to send interest, but then you got to go to your sport and figure out what period you're currently in. So we have a system that's set up that every day, that today is the 20th. So it's showing right now, today's the 20th, and then it's showing all the periods, and we can go future or past. We could do whichever one we want to do dates. They can pick whatever, we can do whatever we want to do. And it's going to show us information based off of that. So it just went to August 3rd from September 20th, and you see all the information change. Some are in the dead period, some are in the quiet period, so on and so forth. So what we'll do is we'll scroll down a little bit, and you can see right here that we have we have the recruiting periods outlined, so you know which each period is. That makes it easy for you to be able to strike, because now you know what period they're in. And the importance of the period is knowing that why a coach may not be responding to you, so that you can make the right decision. Because if you're sending a coach something and they're not able to contact you or anything, you may get discouraged, but there's no need to be discouraged. They're just not returning your phone calls, or they're not sending you emails, or they're not coming to your campus, or whatever the case may be, because the rules don't allow them to. So understanding this is a big part of how you get your resume out, how you do your direct calls, how you do your DMs, how everything goes out in step, your emails and everything. So we're going to show you also the recruiting analysis of it, to where when you view the recruiting calendar analytics, what it'll do is it will show you how many times in a year that like, we'll just use baseball for instance. There's 187 days of the 365 days that are in the contact period. This breaks it down to let you know that 51% of the year is contact period for college baseball. 22 days are dead period. 144 days are quiet period. And then the recruiting shutdown is 12 days. This allows you to know, again, go back to the simple formula that we have. GPS, goal, plan, strike. Our goal, play college sports. Our plan, all of the things that we've implemented, we're looking at how can we get in touch with. When can I strike? When can I strike? When can I go out and do what I need to do? Sack rat, the big picture. Take it, tie it in. Understand, you're in your stance, you're in your alignment, you're in your coaching, you got your keys. We're reacting now. We're at the point where we are reacting to what is going on. We are about to react and attack. We are moving forward. We are starting to, this thing is working like we want it to. It's becoming a well-oiled machine, and we're going to be able to get our offers, our scholarships that we're trying to get. So that's the part of that on the calendar. Miss Amanda, do you have anything that you want to add on the recruiting calendar?
Not right yet. I'll go into it when we get to the next phase where we're talking about outreach and the calendar and how that plugs in.
Okay.
Just if there's any more maybe on the recruiting calendar analytics, because I think maybe touching on the multi-sport athletes would be good here too, because it's obviously from what we just saw on the previous page, those dead periods are different for each sport. But if you're a multi-sport athlete, you can be taking advantage of that.
Yes, you could be looking at, you could go down and look at our sports statistics summary and see that we have try to cover as many sports as we can. We only get the information that we can receive. And again, our entire program is set up for you to self-advocate, to go in and look and see what you have. Like, we have women's wrestling, field hockey, cross country, track, field. We have everything that we got available that we can get the data on, put it out in front of you so that you can see what is going on. So you got beach volleyball, we got lacrosse women's, lacrosse men's, you know, and the thing is some will be in different periods.
Right.
And so if you're a two-sport athlete, let's talk about that real quick. That's an interesting point. Let's talk about someone that's a dual sport athlete. If you have a good goal, which you want to play sports, that's it. We know that. So we're good. Now you're playing. How do you want to attack this plan? How do we want to come at this plan? Well, I might be looking at it and going, oh, this sport will just use football and volleyball. Lacrosse. No, we'll use lacrosse.
Okay.
Football and lacrosse. 2 different periods at the exact same time. You're playing football, they're in the dead period. Lacrosse is in the contact period. Well, now this is where we go back to our hard work, where we go back into the hard work, where we say to ourselves, where we say, all right, how do you work hard? How do you get yourself where you need to be in this? Well, you got to understand, you're in the dead period over here. You can't do anything. Let me go jump into the contact period. Let me go over here where it makes the most sense to me to be sending out emails and doing the things I need to do. And you work it so that you are doing, but that's where the hard work comes in. That's where we go back to what we said, you know, what all of our speakers all talked about. Hard work. Why is it hard work? Because it's not what you do. You are the athlete. That is what you do well. You do the athletics very well. That's not the hard work. That was never the hard work for any of us that played sports. All of us that played professional that we were talking about, that was not the hard work. It wasn't hard to go out and do what you love. That's not hard. And, you know, you always find that you hear the saying, you find something you love, it's not work. And that's what it was. Y'all know that the sport is not what it's easy. It's the little things that are going to make a difference in whether or not you are going to get an offer and get a scholarship. So what we wanted to talk about is timing wins recruiting, know when to reach out, follow up, when to back off. 3 times more likely to land on a radar with consistent timing. So understanding how the calendar works, you're 3 times more likely to land on a coach's radar. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get their attention. We only need 1 school. That's all you need. You can't go to 20 schools. You want 20 offers, but you only can go to 1 school. So that's where all the other tools come in. Is it a good fit? Does it make sense? Does it match? Is my opportunity there? What does it look like? How does my resume fit in with this? How do I make my metrics fit? But we've given you all the tools prior to this to keep track of this. And I'm gonna go back to it. We haven't said it in a while. Your GPS trackers. You have it. Write down your GPS trackers. Keep it in there. Time mismanagement kills momentum. Write in your GPS tracker. 1 action that I'll take this week. Write something down. Get going. Remember, the RMS Recruiting Mate calendar is built-in alerts and reminders. Just know that the GPS next step, right on recruiting action you'll take this week. Well, like we said, we want you to take action next week. Miss Amanda, you have anything that you want to add to that part?
No, sir.
All right. So we're going to make sure that our emphasis is on automatic, on our Recruiting Mate Central automated calendar, our weekly to-dos, and no guesswork. We're going to make sure that there's no guesswork. That's what the calendar is for. There's no guesswork. You know when the periods are. You know when it's time to do what you need to do. So we want to make sure we do that. And we'll see if Miss D, do you have anything that you want to call out or anything that you need to say to them before we move on to our next segment?
No, the main thing was just writing down in your tracker the 1 action that you plan to take this week. And I'm also dropping into the chat a link for our upcoming segment, which is about the outreach that Miss Amanda is going to take away.
Perfect. Thanks, Dee. I'll give you guys a minute to get that set up and just kind of add on to what Adrian was talking about. This is where we want to strike with our communication. We took the guesswork out. We're going to give you a simple 3-step strategy, your 3-touch rule for how to reach out during those active periods to contact these coaches. Regardless of which sport, these templates are going to be utilized. Like I said, I'll pull it up in just a minute. But we want to make sure that we're not just winging it here, because it is a skill to understand how you have to reach out. It's essential. Coaches can't recruit who they don't know. And if you're not trying to get in front of them and expecting them to find you, that's highly unlikely unless you have a really big brand. So we want to be bold enough to reach out, because that sets you apart from 90% of the athletes that aren't. And you have to take that first step. So outreach is mostly about consistency, not the one and done. You don't just send a message and say they never responded to me. Well, why would they? They don't know you. You're just another kid that's reaching out that one time. What matters is what you do next. That's where that 3-touch rule of the email, DM, and follow up. Now, in the templates I'm going to show you here in a moment, that's actually going to be an email follow-up. But as Adrian mentioned earlier, that could also be a call. If you want to do both, that's also beneficial. What I'm going to go over with you in your outreach guide is just those 3 simple steps of email, DM, and follow-up. Coaches notice that persistence and professionalism, and it ties back to what Jose was mentioning with your character. That is a piece of it. Your professionalism and how you present yourself to them is such a crucial aspect to your character. Every message will build trust and show your effort for these coaches. So let me go ahead and get this queued up so we can take a look here. You guys should have this in front of you now at this point. This is our email, DM, and script workshop companion. This will explain those steps that we were just talking about. I know we've talked about it, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time. Why outreach matters so much is those coaches don't know you unless you're in front of them. And sometimes that is an opportunity that presents itself other ways, but when you don't have that opportunity immediately, that's where you use that recruiting calendar, find when the contact period is, and reach out. When you want to send is when your profile, film, and your GPA are ready. You want to make sure all of those ducks are in a row before you outreach, because if you are sending your resume that we showed you earlier, you want to make sure that your highlight film is up to date and current, and showing your most recent game footage and highlighting your position so that they are able to see that right away. Obviously, your metrics are already taken care of in that resume that we had showed you earlier on. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right into how to send it. The first thing is you want to email first, and then this is your email outreach right here. Your first contact with the coach. Usually you want to do this within 48 hours of identifying your match within our system or your target that you're wanting to attack. We always want to have a very clear subject line. Some variation in this to add personality is never a bad idea, but you want to make sure you're hitting certain pieces in that subject line. Obviously, your name first, your class for your grad year, the position, and what you're interested in. The school name, if it's the coach, if it's the team, that's where you can maybe bring a little to it, but you want to be very clear and concise in that subject line so it's easy to see for those coaches. We have put this together where once you have downloaded this, since this is part of your GPS toolkit that you're getting as far as digital assets, you'll be able to just copy and paste this in. Any of these brackets that you see here, that's where you'll just plug in your own data to make it personalized. So you can see here, it says, hello, coach. My name is Amanda. My grad year is 2028. I'm playing catcher for Sutherland High School, and I'm reaching out because I admire your school and I could believe I could be a strong fit for your team and culture. If you don't have the resume through our program, you can include your athletic info. That's a must. Your height, weight, your position, and any key stats or accolades that you want to include. Your academic info should always be mentioned. Your GPA, SAT, and ACTs if you did them. Your film link, obviously right here, what we were talking about earlier. And then just a little closing message of, I would love to learn more about your program and what you look for in the future for the position recruits that you're taking on. Thank you for your time and consideration. And you always end with your name, phone number, and email so they can contact you. That way, if they aren't the type that just wants to reply to your email, they may pick up the phone and call you right then. Now, to go back up to our steps here, the next timing after that first contact email is sent out is when you want to follow up 1 to 2 days after that email is sent, no more than 48 hours. That's when you're going to want to send your DM. So your template number 2 is your DM outreach. If the coach is active on Instagram, Twitter, that's where you want to reach out to them. Most coaches are active on Twitter, as I'm sure you're aware. If you're not, that's where you kind of want to start. And just send them a quick note. Hi, coach. Make sure you always mention their last name. Or first name. Hopefully you've done your research to know how they like to be referenced, because that is available somewhere. And that's part of doing the work when you're out reaching out, is making sure you know who you're contacting. Don't just be another copy and paster. Know who you're talking to, who you're sending it to. Make sure you're in line with what they're looking for. You're going to then reiterate your name, your grad year, your position, and your high school, your admiration and your desire to want to be a part of their program. Add your profile link so they can look at your social pages, and your film link so they can see both your on the field and your off the field highlights. Always end with that closing. I'd love to learn what you look for in recruits at my position, and a nice thank you. Hopefully you'll receive something back from that. But even if you don't, you do another round. That 3-touch rule needs to happen every time. Template number 3 is your follow-up. This happens 7 to 10 days after that DM message. I'd recommend 7. I think it's better to be proactive. That's part of that self-advocacy. If there is no reply, or to share a new update, that's another option. Let's say you do send your template 3, but you have an update in your metrics. You had a quicker 40 time, something that you want to update them on. It never hurts to send them another DM and update that information with them. Stay in front of them. So for your 3rd follow-up, and this is the one that I think most people miss, even the DMs seem to be easier for a lot of our athletes. But when it comes to that last touch, I think discouragement sets in, and this is where you need to rise above that, just as you do on the field. You have to stay in that mindset of just keep attacking it, because here is where you're, again, following up with them on your message and showing your desire and your drive for really trying to be a part of their team. Like I said earlier, coaches notice that persistent in professionalism, and cold DMs don't work. Those personalized ones do. So be mindful of that with these templates. You still want to add some of your spice, whatever that is for you. Just make sure it's professional. I do want to emphasize that these frameworks work as long as you follow the steps, but as soon as you drop the ball, you lose that window. It goes from a potential hot lead, for lack of a better word, a hot lead to a cold lead, because now there's probably 150 other kids that may have took that next step. And who do you think the coach is going to go for? The one that is continuing to stay in front, or the one that dropped the ball and made a fumble? That matters. So I just want to leave you with this before I bring in Adrian to see if he has additional insights into this 3-step process. Is don't wait to be found. Take control of this process. Show that you are motivated to be a part of their team, their culture, and what you're trying to accomplish with getting a scholarship. Outreach isn't about perfection. It's about connection. And you're demonstrating that with these actions, with this 3-touch rule. So be confident, be respectful, be consistent, and know that every message you send is a step closer to your scholarship. Adrian, would you like to add some additional insights to here?
Yes, I would love to add some. Yes, I would love to add some additional insights and information to it. I think that you touched everything that we needed to make sure that they understand the 3-touch rule. Again, as Miss Amanda said, you get discouraged, you stop attacking, and when you do that, you lose momentum. Momentum is the key. I promise you. It's just like in sports. And I'm going to tie it into the sports side of it. She talked about the personal dual side of it. I'm going to give you a little bit of the sports. Everybody knows in sports, if you're play any sport that requires you with movement, got to keep your feet moving. Got to keep your feet moving. Feet don't move, can't do anything. No matter what sport you're in, got to be having the correct steps. Got to take the right step. Can't take false steps. Got to have feet that are moving. Constant movement. Same thing with this. Again, we're going to always reemphasize to you, everybody in here can play the sport. It's these things here that is going to separate you. And I'm going to go back to the very beginning. NIL transfer portal has changed the game for high school freshmen. You coming in as a high school senior, going into a college freshman. I said high school freshman, I'm sorry. College freshman. You're a high school senior and you're going to be a college freshman. It has changed the game so much for you that you have to be able to look the part. And I will say this from earlier, Jose mentioned it, and it was one of those things that I was going to address later, but I think I'm going to bring it in now and just let y'all understand. The professional game was here. Then they went to the collegiate level and they said, okay, we're going to start paying players. So the pros have now dropped down to the collegiate level. The collegiate level was here. There was a high school level here. Now all of a sudden you're starting to hear about NIL in high school and branding and all of these things. The collegiate level that used to be is now the pro level, dropped down. The new level is dropped down on top of the high school. You used to go to college and figure out how to become a college student. No longer. We expect you to know when you get here. If you don't, we're going to go in the transfer portal. We got kids that been in school, like Jose said. And I don't know how many of y'all caught it. 200 snaps before they even look at a kid. So how do you transfer? How do you go to the transfer portal and transfer if you're not playing? You're just going to sit. You're going to go in the transfer portal and sit. But again, as we said earlier, you're looking for the bag. You went over there for the NIL. Let me get the bag. Let me go get the money that ain't even there because you're not playing. So then you get frustrated. They don't want to give you the money. You want to go play somewhere else. You have to understand it's dropping down. It dropped from pro to college, college to high school. We're trying to get you prepared, get you ahead of it so that you understand how to make yourself look professional, how to give the look, and then give yourself some time to learn how to grow into the position that you want to be. That's why it's important to have them small micro goals, how to build them and take those little micro goals and keep adding to them with a plan. I took this micro goal, added a plan to it. I struck. Okay, that worked. That made me have another new micro goal. And eventually, just keep stacking them on top of each other. Keep your feet moving. Keep those things rolling. You'll end up with a scholarship. You only need one. I keep telling you, you only need one. And if it's the perfect fit, you'll stay there for all 4 years or 5 and get your master's degree. And if you don't go, as Marshall stated earlier, if you're not one of the 1%ers that go on to play pro sports, guess what you're going to become? One of the 5 E's. You're going to either be, you're enrolled, so that one's gone. So you lost that one. That's done. Unless you want to go and try to be a doctor, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Go be it. You're going to be enlisted somewhere. You're going to get employed somewhere. You're going to become an entrepreneur. But if you don't do any of them 4, your ass is going to have to evacuate. You are not going to be able to stay in the place that you stay. You will have to leave. You cannot stay stagnant. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in life, doesn't happen in sports, and it's not going to happen for you. So we are trying to drive home hard work in the Recruiting Made Simple program. We've made it simple. We didn't make it easy. We didn't make it recruiting made easy. We made it recruiting made simple. We have simplified everything so you can just go in, do what you need to do. But again, how many of you are going to wake up, touch the early bird on the shoulder, and make sure that they're checking to see who's going to catch the worm? That's the key. Who's going to go and pour concrete, like Chris was saying? Who's going to get up and throw the papers, like Will was saying? Who's going to be running from a football field to get on a conference call because they agreed to it, like Jose did his work, put in his work, and then said, hey, I'm going to get back. I got to do this conference call. I got to go, but I made it. Who's going to put in the work like Marshall? Who's going to put in where, hey, there's a hurricane. I know what he had to do. Hey, we're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're locked and loaded. You're not going anywhere. 90 days straight. You're in it. You got to put in hard work. But all the hard work has to come from the things that are intangible. Like Chris said earlier, not the easy things. Not the easy things. It's all of the things that are intangible. The things that, the mental toughness. How do you become mentally tough with yourself? Marshall said it best earlier. I ain't gonna lie to myself, so I dang sure ain't gonna lie to y'all. Because you know what? Why? If I lie to myself and tell myself it's easy and it's really hard, I'm gonna Like I said earlier, you got two choices in everything you do. You can either bow down or you can compete. There's nothing else. There is no what you call it. Jose said it in a different language. He said karate yes, karate no. There is no karate maybe.
Yeah.
Everything in life is the same thing. That's why we built the SACRAT formula. It is very simple. You have to have a stance in life. You have to align it. You have to see what the coaching points there is to it. You find those keys. You're going to react to it. You're going to attack it. You're going to start today. You're not going to wait till tomorrow. We could have made the tea to tomorrow, but then that's lazy on our part. Now we've shortchanged you again. So I say all that to let y'all know that we need to be on top of our game. Take your email scripts, take your DM, 3-point touch. If y'all haven't seen the theme, everything other than SACRAT has been 3 points. 3 points. Goal, plan, strike, be, do, have, CIA. You name it. Whatever everybody's talking about, it's something simple. It's trying to keep you going. That is what you have to understand. So I'm not going to continue because I could talk about this all day long, but I know that we have to go to the next segment. Amanda, do you have anything that you want to add?
I'll make it fast. I just wanted to add on the professional part of it. Like another bigger picture here, guys, is not just the dual track, but this 3-step follow-up is foundational to professional of any of those E's. It just, when Adrian spoke about the E's again, that reminded me of that. And anything that you do professionally, whether it's a coach, whether it's an employee, whether it's an entrepreneur, there is going to be outreach. There's going to be follow-up. And that is just the reality. And so I just wanted to add that piece because Adrian had said that as well. Use this guide as you guys are attacking those schools. Use it every 2 weeks for the next round of outreach and make sure you're staying organized. We have some great tools we'll show you later with Bob the Bot on that. But at the same time, even just a spreadsheet or a note, making sure you're tracking who you sent it to, when you sent it, and if you got a response. That simple, guys. So yeah, that's what I got.